Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. And let me warn you, before we get started on this episode is not for kids. This episode is for mature adults. And it's because this episode is going to be about how to develop and maintain sexual intimacy if you're in a relationship with somebody that's in prison. Now, the idea for this episode came up out of a conversation that I had with my girlfriend, and she had listened to one of the episodes that I talked about when I was on Max. And there was one part in that episode where she said that it really hit her, where I commented about this guy that every few months or so he would go to the shower and he would buck them, and then they would have to come tase him and get him out of the shower. And I asked him, I said, bro, why do you do that? And he told me that just to get another human being to touch him. And in my conversation with my girlfriend, she was like, that really resonated with her because, you know, she's out there and I don't get to touch her. And because she's loyal to me, nobody else gets to touch her like that. Just the touch of somebody other than a family member. You feel what I'm saying? That is embracing you in a loving and caressing way that could lead to other things, you understand? And that really hit me because I had never thought about how the people that are involved with us, the people that we are in relationships with, how they dealt with that physical separation. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this episode. I think this is going to be an eye-opener, right? This is for adults only, mature adults at that. All right, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. When I was having that conversation with my girlfriend, right, I became curious about how she felt, you know, and I asked, I said, tell me, explain to me, how did that make you feel? And she said it makes her feel weird, you know, because like if somebody at work or somewhere else touches her shoulder or puts their hand on her back, not in that way, but just like during the normal course of the day, like if you're at the grocery store, you moving past somebody or somebody touches you, not to intimate anything, but just a touch of somebody else, it makes her feel weird. And to the point, she even said, if I'm not mistaken, where sometimes it almost even hurts because she's not used to that feeling, right? And I'll admit, at first it made me curious. It's like, dang, okay, what door am I opening here? Am I opening a door to say, well, go out and get you something? You know what I mean? And immediately I'm thinking, this is not what she's talking about. Don't make this about you. This is about her and all of you out there that are in relationships with those of us that are locked up, be it male or female, right? So I got to thinking about some of the things that I do with her that I didn't realize that the things that I do with her, some of the things that I do with her could help that and even make that even better. So I needed to increase that, right? And what I'm talking about really is like things that can help stimulate her or anybody that you're in a relationship with. So how do you do that? How do you do that? What does that look like? See, a lot of people, especially in this country, when you talk about sex or anything like that, it's like, no, it's taboo. So come on now, but let's be real. When you're in a relationship, let's say you're in a relationship on the town, you're married, boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever it is, you're in a relationship, right? And your partner goes out of town, right? They go out of town and they got to stay in a hotel for a couple of days. And you're at home. Y'all call each other on the phone. A lot of couples do what when they do that? They have phone sex, right? You can FaceTime or whatever the case may be because y'all got all that technology out there, but you have phone sex. So don't pretend that it's like, okay, you don't have to do anything. You have to always pay attention to your partner. And if you're in a relationship with somebody in prison, I'm telling the person that's in prison, listen to me. You have to pay attention to your partner. And the bottom line, one of the ways, and I do it several ways, is you're going to have to get your phone sex game up. Get your phone sex game up. Say something slick. Say something sexy. Say something that will ignite a fire in her, or him if you're a female at a women's prison. But say something that will ignite a fire that brings their imagination to life, so they can almost visualize it, so that they can almost feel you. And when you do that, again, you're not there. You're not going to play any games. You're not there. But intimacy is as much mental as it is physical. And because of our circumstances and situation, we have to be able to take our emotional, our mental capabilities to arouse to another level. And if you can't do that, you're going to find yourself lacking. You're going to find yourself having conversations about everything but that. Everything but that. And I'm telling you, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're going to feel out of whack. She may not bring it up. Not because she doesn't want to, but because she might not want to hurt your feelings. Because I asked my girlfriend that. And she said, no, it wasn't even like that. It was just because I do things. I write her these letters, that from what she's told me, she can almost visualize what's going on. My girlfriend, she'll be, she might get mad at me because I might be saying too much. But she could be at work. I know the other day she was at work. She was at work she was in her administrator's office, right? Doing whatever she does. I don't know what she got going on. But we were talking and these other people were around. And I said, what color panties you got on today? And I did that intentionally. One, I knew it was going to make her embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? Not to the point to where she would hang up the phone or anything like that or be upset with me. But I wanted her to know that I'm thinking about her in that way too, even when she's in that environment. Because if I were out and she was at work and I wanted some, I might bump down on at work. Say, come here. So not being able to do that under these circumstances, why shouldn't I be able to express that verbally to her so that she can get a sense, so she can get a feel, literally and figuratively, about what it is that I would like to do to her. Yeah. I'm trying to get her wet. Yeah. I'm trying to arouse her in a way to where she would want me more, to the point to where she would want to jump through that phone. And if it called for her to have to go masturbate, then I would tell her to take me with you. Take me with you, if possible. Go to the shower, go to the bedroom, go wherever. But I want to hear it. And if I'm able, which I'm not, but if I were able, I would let her hear me. That's why I say this grown folk talk, y'all. Everybody can't deal with this. Everybody can't deal with this, but we're going to act like we got some sense, y'all. We're going to act like we got some sense. This is also a consequence of prison. Now, this story is not about somebody getting stabbed, getting killed, getting raped, or anything like that. But this is a reality of people in prison and the life that you have to live if you're in prison. You have to be, if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, you have to be able to have these kind of conversations. Let's act like we're grown, y'all. Let's act like we're grown. And phone sex and masturbation is part of it. Let's act like we're grown now. But see, a lot of us don't have that imagination to be able to do that. I do. She knows it. And another part of that masturbation, it involves sex toys. So if you're in a relationship with somebody in prison, get you some sex toys. If you're involved with somebody in prison and you happen to be the one in prison, encourage your partner to get some sex toys. What's wrong with that? And sit, and when you're on that phone talking to them, just all out of the blue, tell them, go get that thing. Go get that thing for me. I got something that I want you to do for me. I was thinking about you today in this way. That's not to say that your relationship should be dominated by that, because it wouldn't be dominated by that if you were at home. You feel me? But it's a part of a relationship. And under the circumstances, as much as you can, as best as you can, you shouldn't ignore that aspect of a relationship because you are in prison. And if you can't get up to the point to where you are able to do that, I'm telling you, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a problem. I'll have my gal have toys laying all around. It's privately. Have toys laying around the room. Do this, do that. I'm instructing, and I'm listening to everything, and I'm like, hold up, I didn't tell you can come yet. Wait a minute. Hold it. And she'll say, baby, I can't hold it. Hold it. Do this, do that, do this, do that. But at the same time, I'm communicating a message to her that I want you in this way. So you got your phone sex, you got your masturbation with your sex toys, sexually explicit letters that you could write. Describe the scene. Describe to her what you envision her body, what her body looks like to you in intimate ways, every aspect of her body. Be detailed. This shows that you pay attention, that you see her. You understand? And when you get down to the thing, you know what I'm talking about, the oochie coochie coo. Describe exactly what you want to do in detail. Open it up, move it back, flip that clip. Talk about that. Don't be ashamed of that. Don't be ashamed of that. Don't be ashamed of that. Do that in your letters every now and then. You don't have to do it every day. Ain't nobody having sex every day. If they are, something's wrong. You need to go talk to somebody. You know what I'm saying? And then again, but let me correct myself. If you and your partner down with that, then that's cool. But don't let that be the dominant aspect of your relationship, because there's way more to us than that. Toys, buy gifts. Buy gifts. You see some lingerie on TV? Order it for her. You can do that. Send her pictures of yourself, but you can't be sending no crazy pictures because they're not going to let you. But I tell you what, for those of you out there, send your man some pictures, or if you're involved in a relationship with a woman and a female prison, send your woman some pictures. You got to cover up, but just the fact that they could see something, you know what I'm saying? Be risque with it, like the old cabaret shows. You know, show a little bit, take a little back. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, let them see something. Be slick with it. I'm going to tell you something that I like to do. Another thing that I like to do. You know, I have nicknames for this and for that. You know what I'm saying? Or certain little code words, you know what I'm saying? Private codes where if I want to say something slick, or I'm on the phone with her and people are walking by and I want her and only her to understand, or if she's in the room with somebody, her friend, her sister, and she's got me on intercom, or she's at work and she's got me on intercom and other people can hear, I have special codes that only she knows what they mean. You know what I mean? I'm not going to tell y'all some of the codes that we have, but make up your own. And let some of your codes describe her body parts. Let her codes describe your body parts. Let some of those codes describe what you want to do to each other. You know what I'm saying? Have those nicknames for each other. And I'm going to tell you now, this one here, I haven't done this yet, but I'm planning on doing it. record yourself. Record yourself like a special message to her. If it's a little risque, let it be. Get on the phone when you call her, tell her to hit record, and go there. Talk to her in a way that if you were there, you would talk to her. If you were trying to get her to drop her pants. If you were trying to get her to pull her panties down. If you were trying to get her wet, talk to her that way. So that when she's not able to talk to you, she could hit that play button and hear you anytime she wanted to, privately. And that'll go a long way. I'm going to do that. And now, a lot of you might think that, well, I don't know why he did a show like this. What does that have to do with deterring crime and all of that? Well, let me tell you. Being in prison restricts you in this way, but don't nobody want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. And another thing, before I get to that, why I do this show, another thing that you can do when you're at visit, remember, visits are special. And I just want people to understand that sometimes people don't get visits. And that is really hard when you only have the phone to talk to somebody that you love and care about in that way. So treat those visits with special care. You know what I'm saying? Treat those visits with special care. But back to why I did this show. Part of the reason why I did the show. When you're in prison, we don't want to talk about stuff like this. We don't want to talk about being sexual with the person that we choose to spend our life with under these circumstances. Because it can be hurtful. Because it'll make your mind race and start to imagine all types of things, and you don't want to get her aroused or wet, because what if she decides to get somebody else to satisfy that itch? Grow up. That's what I say to you. Grow up. Intimacy is mental and physical. And if you have to worry about that aspect, she's not yours anyway, or he's not yours anyway. People don't need a reason to go do what they do. They might give you one, but they don't need a reason. You just do what you can to satisfy that. But one of the biggest reasons this show is important is because if you don't want to deal with this type of barrier to a relationship, think about that before you go out and live that lifestyle that might put you in a position where you will be limited in this way. Because more than anything, this is a struggle. You may go days, weeks, months, years, decades without sex. Imagine that. But won't nobody say that. But all of these other things that I talked about, they can go on. Because if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. And that's real. So yeah, every chance I get, I'm trying to get her wet. Yeah. And sometimes she'll be like, not today. And I would imagine it would be like that on the town. So don't be ashamed of that, y'all. Don't be put off by that, because that's real. Like I said, I told y'all this is for mature adults only. Mature adults only. If you can't handle this type of conversation, boy, I don't know if that's a reflection of you or me. But what I would say to you is that if you're involved with somebody in prison, stop playing. You know you've been there, done that. And if you haven't, you've done it when you got off the phone with them. And that may be good for you. But wouldn't it be nice to do it with them? Wouldn't it be nice if they wrote you a letter? Wouldn't it be nice if they recorded their voice, telling you what they would like to do with you, telling you how beautiful your body is, imagining that Your body is glistening with sweat to the point to where your body is glowing. Your breathing is labored and your legs are open. Imagine that. And you can feel the moisture between your legs. Imagine that. Because that's what I want my girl to imagine when I'm talking to her. Yeah. And she'll probably be pissed at me a little bit because I put her business out there like that. But she shouldn't be, because I told her I was going to do it. I told her I was going to do it. You know what I mean? Because I think this is important. I think this is important. But y'all know what's going on. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.